sound this time? Anybody?
Check.
Back to the me being an amateur.
Yeah.
At this stuff.
We'd like to apologize for everybody's technical difficulties. The stuff has obviously been a little rusty, dusty, tired, not used. Been a minute since we've been on.
And I haven't even figured out what's wrong yet. I just cheated the system and used a different microphone.
So let us know if you can hear us. Yes, thank you, Chris Edge. Yes, sound. Thank you. Mom says we got sound.
They probably would prefer to listen to the show without the sound.
They probably. I would prefer to listen to the show without the sound. We're actually here for the season ender from Bikini Bottoms finally.
Which has been a long time ago.
Yeah, been a long time ago.
Like a lifetime.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Got a lot of people tuning in. Evidently that starting video was pretty awesome.
That's probably what they were watching.
Yeah, we lost 100 people when we went live.
We'll probably lose a few now that we're talking.
I don't doubt it. Anyway.
Where are you watching from? That's what we want to know.
Yeah, how far are we reaching out?
Tell me where you're watching from and share it for us.
Speaking of which, from crazy wild places, when we were at Bikini Bottoms, obviously one of the highlights was the Icelandic Formula Offroad guys. These guys are wide open.
Guess what? They're coming back.
And they will be back. Oh, they said they're coming back with or without us. They were
October
awesome.
4th through the 7th. Next year, the finals will happen again.
October 4th through 7th, you get to see those guys again. I'll tell you what, the liquor they drink is strong. The tobacco they chew is stronger. The language they use is even stronger than that.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we try to dial it down, but those guys, man.
You and Bessie and Tal seem to have a good time.
Oh, man, we had a blast. Bessie is he's a character. He's a great announcer. He's a lot of fun. He's passionate about what those guys do, and he follows them. He knows every one of them on a personal level. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they ride in one of those shipping containers over here.
I think I ended up with a headache just listening to you guys.
I can see that. You were probably on pins and needles, though, worried about what we were going to say next.
Probably. I was right there with Bob.
Hey, we had fun. We had fun. It wasn't bad. I mean, yeah, their use of certain four-letter words is abundant.
Yeah, and you thought you were learning some really cool Icelandic language.
Yeah, I knew better than that. I knew Bessie good enough to know anything he told me, he would give me a phrase to say. He's like, you want to tell him he's doing a good job, and he would say something.
Everybody that's in the show, you just probably seen Bjorn Grimson comment. That is the man responsible for those Formula Offroad guys that's coming over here the first time. And his nickname is Booby. B-U-B-B-I. So, anyway, give them a big thumbs up for getting those guys over here because they definitely put on a really good show for sure. I see Timothy, Hillbilly Deluxe, is headed to Boo Bash. If you're not on your way to Boo Bash, then you should be. Yeah. Scott puts on an awesome event up there.
Man, sure. I've been looking at the pictures and everything. They've been working on the roads, hills, lights, cameras, actions. Man, it's going to be an event that I would love to be able to go to. It's sitting in my cards this year. But hey, hopefully we'll be there next year or anything else. But I want to see plenty of videos. If y'all get out there, shoot.
I would love to be at Boo Bash. And every now and then it works out so that I'm able to go. But SEMA is next week, and I get on a plane headed to Vegas for SEMA.
Yeah,
Sunday morning at 5 o'clock. So
yeah, I got adulting.
There's just no way for me to get from Dirty Turtle back to my airplane in time, or I would.
We're going to start out with the UTV covering those. Speaking of which, Colton Hoback just rang in overall for the season. He ended up coming in third, didn't he?
I don't know, third,
fourth, fifth,
40th.
Who cares? Yeah, he did pretty good. So congratulations to him. I think he got a trophy and a cup out of it and everything, and he was extremely.
Got some pretty cool little cups.
He did. Those were tight.
You done a good job on those.
Great job on those cups.
I left mine in the truck.
Yeah,
well, sweet tea right now.
Yeah, see, I don't have one, but we're working.
I leave the house with it full of tea and ice, and it will last me most of the day. So
yeah, we got old girl. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Timothy. I know that you've been, a couple of times throughout the season. He just had some, and it was small stuff. It would be a wire shorted out. It would be a sort of starter gave him trouble at Moonlight.
The big stuff is the easy ones to figure out and fix because you know what it is.
Yeah, the bike sounded so the whole buggy sounded so good lining up and everything else. And as soon as he mashed that
Crystal
throttle,
thought that you're adulting is funny.
Yeah, that's tickled. She's funny. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I want to see some videos of the old girl running good because she is dialed in, Timothy. So
the UTVs got to run 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
We stretched the finals out and did basically double the racing of what we normally do.
It was fun.
Hopefully one day we can do that at all these games.
We're working toward it. And I know that's been an ongoing question. We'll have to talk about it, Colton.
Hey Colton, won't you leave with me Sunday?
There you go. Step it up because he probably has to do some adulting. Yeah, it stinks. We ended up going 2 days on the UTV, and it worked out really good. And a lot of the questions are being asked. We will run Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, whatever we're going to run. And we're listening to all the drivers, getting a lot of good feedback and good positive things. Also, we have to contend with the parks and the fans, and we're trying to get as much publicity. But more than that, we're trying to get as much driving time and much course time. And that Bikini Bottoms, we were fortunate; those guys got a lot of minutes up there in the trails.
Yep.
And that's seat time, that's racing, that's fun. It's good for the spectators. It's good for the drivers. So we're going to be changing up and trying some different stuff this season. And when Clyde irons out all the dates, hashes out all the agreements and
it's 95% done, 99% done.
We're going to unveil that.
So we'll put all that information out. Registration will be open at the same time.
Mike Mace joined in. Mace's Towing. I've ever seen those big pretty tow trucks running around Memphis area. That guy's a really, really, really good guy. Yeah, I got a trick or treat with the youngins too, Colton. That's another reason we can't go. I mean, that's we got to do adulting and responsible stuff and work stuff.
Adulting.
Yeah. Anyway, first day of the UTV, we came out and I wanted to run up while it was dry the new what's going to be double cable. Super excited about that too. They're pouring a lot of work into that. And if you thought, and it ended up after putting that water on it the night before, it ended up becoming a really, really slippery, treacherous, fun.
We learned what little bit we needed to learn, and like you already kind of hinted at, it's going to be double cable. There will be two of them side by side, and that was kind of our big goal. Mm-hmm. That way we can run two at a time. Two at a time. That way we get double the action. And anytime you do that, I know other series are doing knockout racing and things like that, where you have the thrill of them running side by side. There's a lot of drivers that put a lot of work and time and don't really want to depend on the guy beside them keeping their stuff in their lane. So this will be a good opportunity for them to hit something as similar as possible while right beside each other, adding the visual effect of the double action. So it'll be unbelievably fun. Save me some candy too, Colton, when you trick or treat.
Oh yeah, right. You don't get all the good stuff. Leave you that junk.
So does your memory work good enough to remember who was the fastest on the first day for the UTVs?
My memory works good enough to know who rolled down the hill the fastest.
That we're talking about Kyle Lowry.
Oh, well, no, Kyle had a good one. Kyle had a good one.
I mean, it was Sam Carter and Kyle.
Yeah, Sam and Carter both rolled down that hill pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
How
many miles were on Kyle's bike?
When I unloaded, Kyle was having some truck and trailer difficulties, so I just threw it on with my batch and went down there Thursday with it, I think. Thursday morning, and it had 17 miles on that bike. And
so you probably had 17 and a half by the time you went around the course and got back to there.
No, I rode the crap out of it. But look, it had like 20. But no, this bike is at my shop right now, and we're getting it all back together, getting her dialed in, if you will. But yeah, I'm trying not to take the motor out of it.
So it may not be a turbo that comes
yeah, I don't think he needs a turbo. At that flip rate he has, I think he needs a tank motor or something. I don't know. He's going to need something strong, something that can take a lot of flips, run upside down. That's where he spends a lot of his time.
Yeah.
But we had some guys run out there and they came down that double cable, and that's kind of sketchy at the top. If they weren't straight, you saw a couple of them do a little backup, lose a lot of time, a lot of seconds left.
A lot of those guys just ease down it, but I've seen several just jump off of it.
I'm telling you, Travis
Skelton will race downhill and outrun anybody.
Y'all better hope they never start a downhill race series, because if they start a downhill race series, Travis Skelton, I've seen him when we were at Hawk Pride, he aired it out coming down that hill off of a 4-foot ledge like it wasn't even there. I mean, so fast that he almost run out of the track. I saw him pull a U-turn in the middle of a bounty hill.
I'm pretty sure this is a little bit of sarcasm, but Brian Maddox wants to know if Sparky was the fastest.
Okay.
He never came back.
Let me tell you about Sparky's run. Sparky did what Sparky does, which means works on his bike all the way up until halfway through round one of whatever he's racing. Then he comes down and he gets in the action. Well, he's already missed the driver's meeting. He has no reference of any of the others' drivers' runs because he was still working on his bike. What he does every time. I don't know who's going to win when we go to a competition. I don't know who's going to flip, who's going to really show out and do a good thing. Here's what I do know. Sparky's going to be working on his bike while the race is going on before he even
took a 15-minute detour. Took us about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to find him just to make sure he wasn't on the course anymore.
Yes.
Entertaining.
I'm pretty sure
he's not on Facebook, so we can talk about him more.
Well, Dollar General was right down the road, and I thought he might have needed some more parts. So I figured he went down to ask if they had anything that would fit on that bike.
Possibly so.
Yeah, so, yes, no, Sparky was not the fastest. He was the fastest one to get eliminated from the competition. Yeah, we're like, Sparky, that's the parking lot. You're on your trailer at this point. Surely you know that's not the part of the course. But
so
anyway,
if I remember right, it was DC was the fastest.
DC was DC Thompson in the single-seater buggy was by far he laid down a smoking time Friday. He came out, hit it hard, got going, ended up doing a little bit of wheel bearing damage to his bike and finished the race kind of dog-legged, but he came out really fast. It was impressive. That was a good run and hard to beat.
Yep, 65.420, and Tim Cameron had a 65.961.
Yep. That's funny. DC ran a 420. That's cool.
And Travis Skelton ran a 67.849, which I think was mostly made up coming down Cable Hill.
And Colton Hoback points out that is a Spider built to some extent buggy. DC's done a lot of custom work DC style on it.
Paul Wolf was 3 seconds behind the fastest time, but a 68.947.
Paul Wolf's going to be a contender next year to be a force to be reckoned with, I predict.
Paul Wolf the next day laid down a 74.514, which put Timmy and Paul tied at 92 points. And the tiebreaker when they tie all the points is combined times. And Paul's was a 143.460, and Timmy's was a 143.525.
Hundredths of seconds determined that.
600.
Awesome.
600ths
of a second determined that position.
So you had Paul Wolf in first, Tim Cameron in second, DC in third, Stacy Wilhoit in fourth, and Colton Hoback in fifth.
Well, and Paul's got to be excited because that was the first time to run his new buggy because he built it the day before. And finished it up when he got there.
So him and Sparky hang out a lot.
Yeah, but no, Paul Wolf's on point though. He's going to be ready when it's his turn, and he makes his stuff, and he is going to be a force. That was the first race for that buggy, straight out the box with no. And everybody knows you're going to have little things that you overlook anytime you do a chassis build like that and everything else. But I look for Paul Wolf next season to be laying down some really strong times. He was already a competitor. The only thing he's got going against him is he rides one of those other bikes. Can-Hams?
Can-Am.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Can-Am's hanging in there this year.
Do you know, in the Bounty Series, we had some Can-Ams do work. A lot of them break. And in fact, Mike Flinner took him 2 bikes, but he finished the Bounty Series.
He did.
Yeah, it only took 2 brand new Can-Ams to do it, but he did good. I mean, and that's.
I'm not sure too many of them would have taken that crash he took though.
No, it was pretty nasty.
Does your memory got all the point standings and all that stuff?
No, Timmy won. Not that particular, setup, but yeah, for the year and everything else.
For the year was Tim Cameron in first with 434 points. Brandon Davis with 384. Colton Hoback with 380. Moonlight cost him.
It did.
He was trying his best to get ahead.
Well, you had that one tree on the hill, with only 30 or 40 foot on each side.
And he found it.
Yeah, he hit that one.
And then Paul Wolf climbed all the way back up to fourth place with 373, so he was on Colton's heels.
Oh, yes, sir. Paul
and then
Wolf.
Stacy Wilhoit got his shirt on.
I see that, and Stacy's going to be coming. come with a new
367
buggy. I
points.
think he's going to call it the Procrastinator. I don't know. It's going to take him a long time to build it. I know he's on his little buddy hard for it, so that'll be awesome. That's where the throwback.
I guess Tim Cameron took home a really nice prize for sure.
Tim Cameron rode home in a brand new Turbo Razor.
Abernathy's up
Abernathy's.
at Union City for the second year in a row have stepped up and taken care of it.
Man, that is awesome, and I know he's proud to get it. I mean, because he has so many at the house already. He
I
needed
think it's
another
already
one.
being turned into a race rig for next year.
Oh, I don't doubt that for 1 second. If Timmy's got something, it's going to be a race rig or a trail rig that's also capable of racing. Yeah, even Timmy's trail rigs, we're going to be seeing them out there putting on a show in a couple of different standpoints.
Sam Carter picked up the trail rig. I think it's pretty much public knowledge at this point.
Yes.
Anybody that's watched Sam Carter drive realizes he's wild.
Yeah, he needs something strong. He needs. I don't know. Yeah.
I guess we'll see what he can do. With
I don't know if Snap-on builds
DC
a buggy,
built rig.
but he needs to look for that. A Rubbermaid.
I wonder how well that warranty is on a TC built rig.
I'm sure it's great. Well, and one good thing about it is if you're racing, you're going to have the guy that built it there to look at if you do break it. He'll tell you what you did wrong.
So we're going to take a break between, or we want to keep trucking?
Man, I just keep on going. We got people here and bouncing. We're already started talking about the buggies a little
I was
bit.
talking about, play our video again.
Oh, y'all don't want to watch that video
But you
again.
catch your breath.
No, I'll
All
be
right,
all
let's
right.
keep trucking.
All right, I've been training for this.
Training.
Yeah.
Again, it feels like it's been, I don't know, it's been a pretty while since the finals.
It's been a long time since
We
the
have been
finals.
wide open.
Wide open is a good way to describe all that.
Colton said Abernathy's, we need 3 razors next year, please and thank you.
Well, there you go.
So he's just shooting for the top 3 instead of the top 1.
Why don't you shoot for first place and just win the one, Colton? Wouldn't that be easier? All you gotta do is beat out.
Now he's just hoping for 3rd.
Yeah, right. Wow. No, yeah, I can see it. 3rd place at 170.
Go back to my cheat sheet over here.
Yeah.
All of these stats, since we're moving on to the bouncers, all the stats can be found on the website. To get to the homepage, it's www.srrs.rocks. That will get you to the homepage, and you can find links to move around and get where you want to go. The times and points for each event is in that event, so you just go to that event and click on the event, scroll through, and that's where we put all the times for each event. And then, of course, all the standings is under its own tab, and they're separated between the bouncers and the UTVs. Obviously, we have 2 classes of UTVs. Somebody saying something funny over here?
Yeah, Brian Maddox said he think the Groundhog had the fastest run across the hill. You didn't see that, did you?
No, I don't think it did.
Yeah, there was like this weird animal that's only found in the foothills of Tennessee, Dyersburg area. Evidently, it's some kind of groundhog muskrat thing. But this thing was big, furry, long tail, and we're in the middle of racing up the hill.
Really?
And all of a sudden, this thing comes out and runs across the hill. That was during the UTVs.
Huh.
And it just runs across. We had just finished up toward the end. But, I mean, even with all that action, all those motors, everything else, and not to mention the Formula Iceland Formula guys were still running on the other side.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was hilarious.
Let us know what you thought about how we mixed together the Formula Offroad and the bouncers and the UTVs. We're going to continue to try to grow into some more stuff for the finals for sure.
And for anybody that didn't understand that, those guys are running their series, and their series is very technical. It has a lot of points given, taken.
No clocks.
And there's no clocks on it, but they do have a start time, and they do match that start time. When they say they're going to run, they start running. And it's partly because they're getting these vehicles ready. They don't want to give an unfair advantage to anybody else or whatever. So
we knew we had to start on time for each class, even if the previous ran over, so that we could keep it going for the day. But I think we ended up being able to start early for several of them. Because we were able to keep the flow going. Greg
Lester asked, when are we going to drag race these things? Greg, if you ever come to an
When's
event, we drag race all the time. I mean, I've seen DC drag race every time he comes into the parking lot.
Bjorn said they can have clocks.
All right. I'm ready for you. Maybe that's awesome. We'll put clocks on it, whatever you want to do. I'm not gonna lie to you. We didn't really stand a chance Sunday.
Gajorn started the trend for those guys off pretty wild.
Yeah.
If I remember right, he was actually the first run and cartwheeled several times down the hill.
Oh yeah, he don't mess around.
It's pretty gnarly. And if you keep an eye on Busted Knuckle and Mad Ram 11, you'll see lots of videos coming.
Yeah, that Thor car ended up winning it all, didn't they? The KFC car or whatever, Thorson. Yeah,
I think so.
They won that event, and the BJ car was in there too. Those were two of my favorites.
Gajorn said remember Sunday.
Oh yeah, I remember Sunday, and I, we think we're climbing, and we're climbing. We are something to be reckoned with. But those cars are built. I want one. To tell you the truth, I really would like to.
Well, Bikini Bottoms,
it's made for those.
And Booby had watched us run at Bikini Bottoms in the past, and he's seen the terrain, and it actually works really well for him.
Yes.
And that's their forte, is that loose, sandy terrain like that.
Well, we had powder. I don't know if y'all could ever get up there to the top of that second shelf of that hill, but by the time we got done running Saturday, if you went up there and walked through it, you'd sink almost to your knee in some of those dead spots. Just powders. You're just like, good grief, and was sluggish.
I think a lot of our guys learned a lot of what those guys go through in keeping their, air cleaners and stuff.
Oh.
Like Booby had told me, he said he runs a separate air filter for each track.
Yeah, that's what took us so long to do this show, is I'm still getting dust out of my nose. Y'all can hear I'm stopped up. It have been since then. We got a little rain Sunday, and it was just fun. We were just out there playing, did a little follow the leader and everything, but we definitely weren't the leader. Those guys, the horsepower they turn is unreal. When they start spraying it, he was talking about 16 to 1,800 horses, just unreal.
Yep. They're wild.
Yeah, they're screaming up that hill. They're already running a 700 horse buggy, and then all of a sudden they're spraying it.
So do you remember who was the fastest on Hill 1?
The fastest on Hill 1.
Hill 1 was the new double cable, the first part of double cable that's coming.
Yeah.
And, of course, after that was when it really got tough to find a line to get to the top in that loose dirt.
Yeah.
But Clayton Hollingsworth was the one that put it down with a 25.497.
I don't want to say that I predicted that, but I predicted that. Before in the pre-show,
Bubba Bacon with the big block and the boggers was right behind him with a 25.9.
Yeah, I like that too. I would. That's Bubba Bacon, big blocks and boggers, and they're making it. They're cooking.
He said they had a ton of fun this year.
That's awesome. We loved having them there. I told you, that makes every event better. More bacon.
More bacon.
Yeah, more bacon. That's add bacon to it. I've done it to cheeseburgers. I've done it to every breakfast meal I've ever had. It's just better.
Actually, Clayton wasn't the fastest down here, and it's further down. I didn't catch it. Brandon Davis was the fastest with a 23.122. But he had a crash later in the event that cost him.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
He got in big trouble for that one.
He's going to be, I bet, because his
he stepped him up and got him another rig.
Yeah, and he is. Going to be also stick with the old TC build. Evidently, he likes that. And
I'm going to tell you, Brandon has impressed me with the fact that he had never done it before, and he got in one, and he's done very well. Well, he's done very well for sure.
Well, he's got some unfinished business to handle. I know that.
He's got some bigger shoes to fill again.
Yep.
And I know the Bacons are making some improvements, so it'll be interesting to see how
bigger blocks.
I like the whole big block, small block battle. It's pretty funny watching it.
Yeah, it is. I like watching it. And those, like I said, those guys run and their horsepower. Now, I personally didn't know this, but they said every time they do drag race, and we mentioned it earlier, Bubba Bacon's undefeated. He just kills them. They say that is the drag race buggy. If y'all were running quarter-mile flats, there would be no competition for him. That's what I hear. So,
well, Hill 2, you remember who won Hill 2?
Hill 2.
It's a bad donkey.
Kyle Crouch. Well, he deserves it too. That buggy looks like it'd be more top-heavy than it is.
He actually won Hill 2 and Hill 3.
He drives the crap out of it. Yes. Yeah.
He didn't slack around.
No, he ain't scared to foot it, and that's impressive. That's impressive. Who won Hill 4?
Hill 4 was won by Clayton Hollingsworth.
again. Well, I mean,
Well, he
he didn't win the
one,
first
second
one.
place.
He won
Yeah, I forgot about Brandon down there.
Yeah, Brandon. But
well, Clayton did win the fourth heel.
So Clayton says he's excited about next season as well.
He did.
He said he's going to be running.
If you haven't went and watched his videos, be sure you watch them. They're usually entertaining.
Yeah, he's a really funny guy.
He's a good character.
Country is a biscuit. Yeah, but he's got a good heart on him, and he's really.
I think he enjoyed testing into that water skimming.
Oh, I thought that was cool.
He showed up to the banquet sopping wet.
Yes. Well, and speaking of things that had never been done before, skimming rock buggies. I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but these things are made to bounce up hills, not skim water. They're heavy. But the distance that these guys, him and Jimmy Smith, is just impressive. I couldn't believe it. Now, as soon as they lose enough momentum that front dips, they're done.
Yep.
But
Clayton said his just act like it cut off, so
yeah,
he figures it must have hit some water in the intake.
Oh, no doubt. I know why.
Well, they're not made for that, so.
No. But we seal that thing up with some Ziploc baggies or something, we're going to be really rocking there. But I thought that was cool. And, man, they were throwing water and they were skimming. These guys were skimming. When I say they were, I don't know how far it was, but it's got to be 250 yards. They're skimming these.
That setup they have for the skimming, I think it's 300 yards.
300 yards, yeah. It looks, like I said, we skimmed at night, too, so that was really cool.
They're actually, Bjorn is actually shooting for the world record there. That's why they built it that long. This was the second year in a row to try to attempt it, so.
Yeah.
Maybe third year's a charm.
They have almost made it. It was so close. It's not even funny. But, yeah, they were moving. And that skimming it's fun anyway.
And those guys, they're a lot lighter weight than what our rigs are.
Yeah, no, I saw some of those guys. They ain't no thinner than me. You watch
how fast they put them back together after they tear them up?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the real impressive part.
Yeah, I love the overalls. That's what really did it in. They came into Dyersburg and they said, "Man, we really want to fit in with these Americans." So here's what these guys do.
Last year.
Yeah, they go to Walmart and they buy them out of Liberty overalls. I mean, it looked like the Minions had taken over Dyersburg bikini bottoms. It was funny. They're just super nice, and I mean, we all know overalls are super comfortable, extra versatile. All those pockets, comfort, room. They're awesome.
So fifth place for the day or for the weekend. Remember who that was? Wes Keene.
Wes Keene. And also, that, like I said, that buggy, this is his first year to run that buggy too. Yep. And if he's going to put powder or leave it the way it is. That rat rod buggy looks good the way it is.
I would say it'll probably be the way it is.
I don't blame him. And like I said, that buggy he pulls it off good. He's got a low center of gravity.
He does.
That whole buggy's low, and he can drive. And I think he performed well several times this year, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And if you're going to beat him, you better not be scared of the skinny pedal because he can drive.
Fourth place, we got Mr. Tim Cameron, who going into the race, said up front that he was just at the point, he had enough gap in the points on the series to just play it safe, and that's what he did. Played it safe and ended up in fourth place for the day.
I don't know if he played it safe or if he just couldn't beat him. But he didn't have to at the end of the day.
170 points. Yeah. And he knew he just needed to be in the top 10.
Like I said, first place is first place, and he earned it. He got it. He won it, for the whole series. So if he didn't win this one event, it doesn't happen often, folks.
And he was only 1 point out of third. Bubba Bacon was sitting at 171 for third place.
That's awesome. 1 point out of third, Bubba Bacon. Well, and that brings up, you said, Bubba Bacon. And we'll get to Clayton Hollingsworth.
Kyle Crouch.
Second with
178.
Yeah, I mean, Wes Keene. These are drivers that are coming, and Brandon Davis, don't ever write him off. And like I said, with the new buggy and everything else.
He I talked to Brandon after he flipped, and he said he learned exactly, what he did that he shouldn't have done.
I can't wait to see what Timmy builds to race next season, both in the UTV class and in the bouncer class. But here's what I do know. He better continue to do what he's done and step his game up because they're coming. He's got a target on his back, and he's got some racers that are capable of taking it. And, best of luck. Well, love watching all these guys drive. Love watching Timmy drive. The more technical the course, the better off he does. But at the end of the day, when you're out there number one, everybody wants that spot, so they're coming for you, and we're getting faster and faster every year. These hills are getting harder and harder every year.
Yeah, Timmy only had a 35-point lead in the end.
You know, that's still.
And Brandon, even though Brandon had a bad run, bad one, I think it was Hill 3 that he had a bad run on.
Mm-hmm.
He still ended up 5th for the season with 665. Clayton Hollingsworth.
That's only his second year racing too, guys.
And it is only his second year racing.
You may think Brandon Davis from looking at his equipment, looking at his style, looking at his organization between him and Cheryl, the buggy he runs and everything else, that he's been doing this for 10 years or better. But this is his second year running, and he's throwing up really good numbers, and y'all watch him because he's not getting any worse.
Yep. 4th place, Clayton Hollingsworth was 671.
There you go. And that's rookie of the year right there.
6 points between Clayton and Brandon.
Now, Clayton, he's no rookie to the whole racing thing. I think he's raced everything from horses to buggies to whatever, horse and buggies, lawnmowers, anything to snail racing. Clayton will race it, and he's got a lot of background in rail buggies, and his son Gilbert they build some awesome stuff, and it's cutting edge. It's they pioneered a lot of ideas. They've got a lot of people paying attention, a lot of people second guessing what they're running, just because of his success in it.
Yep.
And is it the buggy? Is it the driver? Is it Tim tried to go.
No, one thing that helped Clayton, is he wasn't ready to roll at the beginning of the year, and we had 2 drops this year. That is something that will be different next year. We did that because we moved to 10 race format. We want to give a little room. We will keep the teams for next year, but next year will only be 1 drop instead of 2.
Oh, 1 drop.
So they've only got 1 day to make a mistake.
Well, it'll make it easier to second guess who's in the lead. Because this year you had a lot of drivers, and your smart drivers that understood the system knew where they stood after the drops, no matter what they were at the whole time.
Oh yeah, these guys are paying attention.
But
way better than I am.
Yeah, well, all I can do, I can barely read, but yeah, they it's gonna be I like the 1 drop system. We got some new parks and some of the old parks, so we took the best of the best. The parks that we really liked and got a lot of good feedback, we pursued and making them go again, the ones that were available, and we also added in some curveballs and some changes coming for next season, so we're super excited about all that as well. But who ended up winning? Go ahead. Second place, third place?
Third place.
731
points, Kyle Crouch.
Kyle Crouch. That makes sense because he did win Hill 2 and 3.
Yep. So he did really good, and it helped him move up a little bit at the end of the year.
Yes.
And then Mr. Bubba Bacon, right there in second, was 745.
This story of Bubba's life, man. He's been riding second all year long, and was the only person to beat Timmy in any of the regions.
Yeah, he did.
So that was impressive
I think
too.
He won the northern region.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And so congratulations to him on that as well. He's the northern champion. All right. Next.
You need me to tell you?
Yep.
700 and pull it back up. 780 points, Mr. Tim Cameron. 35 points above Bubba.
I can't remember her. I can never remember her. Tim Cameron. He's the one that drives the green. No, not the green one. That's the Hulk. But he's got some green on it. Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Tim's wanting to know where he can find some of the videos of the Memphis course. You can go to this page and scroll back. You'll see some live videos scroll back to the date, and you'll see some live videos from it. It's probably about the best we got. And then we do have a recap video that should have a little bit on there that you can tell what everything is.
That's something we're doing that's new and neat, and we hadn't even really touched on it or in this show yet.
We have been way too busy.
We've been way too busy, but it's something different. And man, was it fun!
It's something. It's something for the Memphis crowd to do. We got together with the Memphis International Raceway and built a new track out at the Memphis Motorsports or Memphis International Raceway. And it's more like an obstacle course, so it's more about the driver versus the horsepower. You got to be able to drive it. So
yes,
I think all those guys had a good time.
We were actually able to run the aspirated against the non-aspirated class for the wheels and for one of the prizes, and it was still very competitive.
I believe Colton Novak ended up winning that.
Yes, he did win it. Yes. So Colton's been on a really good streak. He's been really focused, and he's been trying hard and making sure the buggies. he made a statement the other day to me in a message that said it's the only thing he remembers is his race to the finish line, not to the toolbox. And that's the truth. Out there at Memphis Motorsports Park, we saw a man in reverse almost get a.
We're gonna keep improving, keep improving that track, and keep making things a little better from what we learned.
Yeah, a little tougher in some areas, a little easier in some areas, but it's not about speed. Like I said, it's about control, throttle control, timing, and keeping it together.
Greg wants to know if anybody's spraying nitrous. He'll come see that. There are several people spraying nitrous.
Yes, a lot of people spraying nitrous, Greg. In fact, you bring up one of the nitrous changes that I saw. I saw Clint Evans' eyes light up like a kid at Christmas, and all he said to me is, "Zach, I don't know why I didn't do this last year." He said it changed his whole style.
He put a 300 shot on it, and David Page from Fast came down from Memphis and tuned it, and he said it was like a whole other gear.
Yeah.
And I said, well, is it going to stay together? He goes, I don't care, it's the last race.
Yeah, he said it's the last race, but it's not Clint Evans' last race because he's excited about the way that buggy's running. And
I'm not even going to talk about what he's building, but it's pretty nasty.
That's his story to tell. And but yeah, I mean, it won't be general. How about that?
Brian says Jake Berkey's winning it next year. I'm going to tell you, Jake's finally got his head wrapped around that horsepower, and he's done very, very well the last half of the season.
He did good. He did good the last half of the season. He had a run of bad luck.
I think I've seen him
more getting to
that he was on the podium 9 out of the last 10 races at some point right here in the end.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all. Jake Berkey, and I don't know what he does to his bike to make it so dadgum loud. I know it's strong and I know it's fast, but it's hands down probably twice as loud as any other buggy out there running. And it's just you can feel the power of his buggy when he comes by you. It's impressive to say the least. But it's little things that have. Jake Berkey's he's still ironing out some bugs. At Moonlight, like I said, a tree broke the rear steer on him. Rear steer gave him trouble twice in this season, I think at least.
Yep.
And when it ain't that, it's flat tires on the trailers. Or like I said, it's always something. But you're right. Jake Berkey is a real contender.
Oh, so anything else? Got any questions? Post them up. We'll try to answer them right quick.
15 seconds from now when we should see it.
15 seconds from now, exactly. Actually, it's 15 seconds from now when they hear it.
And then it's 15 seconds from now when you see it. So 30 seconds. Don't rush.
And we will have
fireworks duct taped to the first car.
That was pretty cool, actually. I wasn't down there, so I missed all that.
You missed out a good shot.
But I've seen some videos, and I was like, is this a Dyersburg? And sure enough, it was.
I told you, me and Bessie were cutting up, too. The sun went down, the gloves came off.
I heard.
Yeah. It was fun.
So, I guess we will have all the information posted on the website soon. Obviously, we'll share it to all the social media. If you got any questions, you can always shoot us an email, info@southernrockracing.com. We will have all the registration links and stuff up very, very soon.
Big Willie said Team T-Rex.
Team T-Rex.
Yeah. I want y'all to know, anybody can race in there, but it seems like Razors are pretty much dominating. Tube chassis or especially in the heel, the stability they give you, the advantage they give you or whatever. But, I love my T-Rex and took it places it was not supposed to go. And did some awesome stuff with it. But, I mean, truth is, Polaris has such a head start on these guys. Can-Am's the closest to catching them, but
Can-Am's been doing a really good job. So.
Yeah, Can-Am's doing a good job too.
If you're at SEMA, hit me up on the page. I'll be glad to say hi and meet up with a bunch of folks. I'll be there from Sunday to Friday. And if you guys don't have any questions, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna play that little promo video again one more time, and we'll see you live here again in probably another week or two. Yep. We'll try to do some videos for the local track racing we're doing as well. So. We'll see you guys after a while.
Yeah, have a good one.